What if Weevil Underwood was the main character of the Yu-Gi-Oh series instead of Yugi? A crazy thought, I know. I just want to point out, I don't have any particular fondness for Weevil or anything like that. He's kind of irredeemable throughout the course of the series, no real redeeming factors. But when you think about his story, you could kind of twist it a little bit to make him the main character and get a full arc throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh series. So I thought with the little bit of groundwork already laid out throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh series involving Weevil, can I tell a cohesive tale of Weevil-o? Yu-Gi-Oh? Weevil-o? The only thing I'm allowed to do with Weevil is give him a backstory, give him a inner monologue while he's dueling to humanize him a little bit, and give him a somewhat cohesive ending to his story. It's weird because obviously if you've got the main character as Weevil and you got this side character defeating all the big villains in the series, I feel like you could tell like an orthodox anime about that though, right? Where you're the main character, but you're not the main character, and you're always forever in the shadow of this other person. I feel like there could be a story there. So this is the story of Weevil Underwood. Weevil-o. This time, when the Yu-Gi-Oh anime begins, our story doesn't open on lovable Yugi in school teaching his friend how to play Duel Monsters. Instead, we open at the end of the Duel Monsters Regional Championship Finals. Our main character, Weevil Underwood, God, that sounds weird, is on the final stage, alongside the current #1 ranked duelist, Rex Raptor. With the both of them having bested 200 other duelists in this tournament, well, the reigning champion, Rex Raptor, defends his title well, with his powerful dinosaur monsters. As the duel progresses, Weevil, through a clever combination of plays, is able to best Rex's most powerful monster and win the duel, becoming the new regional champion. And not only that, but Maximilian Pegasus, the creator of the Duel Monsters card game, hands him the prize himself.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Aww. In fact, he even invites him to compete in his Duelist Kingdom tournament he's going to be hosting, where the best of the best will go to decide who truly is the best duelist in the entire world. Weevil, at this point, right at the start of the series, basically, is at his absolute pinnacle of self-confidence and how good he feels about himself. You see, this is a big thing for Weevil winning the championship because, well, when he was a kid, of course, he didn't have any friends. He wasn't particularly academically gifted or physically talented in any way. No one really paid him much attention. He was kind of just in the background, one of those kind of people. Unfortunately, not so in the background that people left him alone, because of course, he would be bullied throughout his early childhood. The only friends he would ever know are the bugs that he would play with on the playground. Specifically, and stay with me here, the caterpillars, because to him, he would marvel at their amazing ability to go from this creepy looking, wiggly worm looking caterpillar into a chrysalis and then burst forth from that chrysalis as a beautiful moth. Why not a butterfly? Because Weevil's boss monster is perfectly ultimate great moth and not a butterfly. So I can't make that metaphor, but it works anyway. He likes moths, okay? He wants to burst forth and become a beautiful moth. So that's why he likes them. He loves their ability to change from something humble into something beautiful that everybody can look at and adore. Just like the moth. Weevil too hopes someday that he could go through the same metamorphosis that the moths did, becoming something that everybody would gaze at. Of course, this is the moment here where you cue the bullying. They come in, maybe they smush one of the moths, or they try to smush him. Weevil defends it, and they're like, "You're gonna defend a bunch of insects?" He's like, "I can do this all day." He doesn't do that, obviously. He's like, "I will challenge you to a duel." Or the bully kid probably does that because that makes more sense. And he's like, "I don't know how to duel. I don't have any Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Duel Monster cards." Oops, Pokemon then as well. So I assume someone just gives him some like, "Here, take my trash cards." Maybe there's like 1 or 2 bugs in there as well. Or it's just crap deck. They duel. Weevil wins. This is a big thing because Weevil has a talent for dueling and he didn't even know. And he beat the bully. Everyone applauds him and he gets this moment. He's like, "Whoa. People saw me as more than something than what they thought I was. This is a nice moment. I'm going to pursue duel monsters. That's the start. That's our backstory. So of course now his self-worth is tied to his dueling ability. He needs to win, be respected, or else he's not going to feel very good, is he? So that's our premise. And of course, what is he going to go on to play? Well, his original friends were the bugs, so he's going to play a bug-themed deck, an insect deck. So with all that out of the way, you can now understand why winning the regionals is a big deal. This is the accumulation of everything he's ever sought throughout his entire life. To be noticed, to be respected, things like that. Not to get smushed like the common cockroach, you know? However, what's a story without conflict? Because here is where Weevil's happiness starts to go on a downward trend. Before the Duelist Kingdom tournament begins, he finds out that one of the greatest duelists of all time, and someone he really respected, Seto Kaiba, was defeated by some no-name high school kid. And the rumor is he beat him with 5 one-of-a-kind cards that nobody else in the world has, except for this kid apparently on the boat to Duelist Kingdom. What? How has he got a copy of Exodia? And these cards instantly won him the duel. Insta-win cards. How the hell is anybody supposed to compete with that? And to rub salt in the wound, not only did this no-name kid beat one of the best duelists in Japan, but he also got invited to Maximilian Pegasus's ultimate Duelist Kingdom tournament. This Yugi fellow that we've been hearing about, he's never even took part in any kind of tournament at all. He's got no record. How can he get invited to this? Why should someone that got lucky with some broken card that nobody else in the world have also be invited on the same stage as me, Weevil Underwood? Now, Weevil, while conflicted, realizes Yugi will be undefeatable in this tournament with those cards. And so he makes the difficult decision to make the tournament fair for everyone. He does this by approaching him on the boat on the way to Duelist Kingdom and saying, "Oh, hello, Yugi. Can I look at those powerful Exodia cards that you have? These are nice." Whoosh! Right over the side of the boat, getting rid of them forever. By doing this, Yugi is forced to duel at everybody else's level. So now Yugi has to duel with skill rather than using his broken combo. Do I still think this is a bit messed up? Yes, you've got to really justify that Weevil was really conflicted about doing this or something. So I think the only way you can really do that, I think literally as he's walking away laughing kind of thing, he sort of notices that Joey jumps over the side of the boat. He does feel a little bit conflicted by that. Maybe like sort of takes a step, try and help or something, but then realizes I've got to kind of stick to this kind of thing because you don't want him to, like, someone could have died there. So that's how you just humanize him just a little bit. So he's not all evil at this point or anything like that. He just wants things to be fair. We fast forward, we're on the island, the tournament begins, and this Yugi character, my goodness, immediately hunts Weevil down seeking revenge. Weevil tactically leads Yugi into the forest where he finds a duel field that he can have an advantage on, so that his deck can play its best possible ability. Now you might say this is a disadvantage to the opponent, not very fair. Well, the thing is, Weevil came to this tournament and actually read the rules. He knows how this tournament works. This Yugi fellow, I don't think he read the rules at all because he seems like super surprised about field power bonuses and all that. I mean, if anything, it's his fault for not reading up on the rules. He was just too confident from Weevil's point of view. Saying all that though, if we want to get really technical, Weevil was the only one that knew about these new rules because Maximilian Pegasus only told him apparently. So that kind of debunks that, but we can just twist the story a little bit, can't we? And so here it is. Weevil's time to prove he earned his title as champion. How can some kid with not a single impressive tournament win under his belt, apart from a lucky win against the best duelist in Japan, expect to beat him? However, immediately as the duel begins, Weevil notices something strange. Yugi's entire personality completely shifts, as if someone or something had possessed him. A kind of dark entity that is actually dueling through him instead of Yugi. As the duel progresses, Weevil realizes that Yugi's deck contains no consistent theming at all. Unlike Weevil's deck, which is a perfect blend of cards that synergize with each other and work together, and they stick with a consistent theme of insects, Yugi's deck is just a bit of everything. It's got demons in there, it's got magicians, elves, dragons, like, it's just thrown these cards together. How can a deck like that beat Weevil's deck? Or at least that's how Weevil thinks at the start of the duel. However, as it begins to progress, something starts to happen. Yugi starts winning. He obliterates Weevil's entire field of monsters with a single trap card, Mirror Force. Weevil attempts to get out his ultimate boss monster, however, is thwarted on getting out its final form, and so has to settle for its second most powerful form. I think that's good, like, foreshadowing kind of thing. Like, Weevil didn't get to get out his full potential in this duel, so if they have their rematch, he can do it then. I think that's kind of good. Ultimately, Yugi wins the duel by making the air damp with Makyu and then electrocuting his Great Moth with his summoned skull. Weevil is devastated. He has not only lost to Yugi, but has also lost all of his remaining star chips, effectively eliminated from the tournament as soon as he arrived. Humiliated, Weevil also finds out later that not only did Yugi go on to win more duels, he won the whole bloody tournament, beating the creator of the card game himself. Weevil, now with a chip on his shoulder, vows to one day get revenge on Yugi, defeat him in a duel, and prove once and for all that he himself is a great duelist. And we could probably do something about all the attention going to Yugi or something, because everybody just really thinks Yugi's the stuff after this. And that's basically the premise. Now, of course, Weevil in the original storyline is portrayed as pretty irredeemable, so we're gonna have to tone some things down with this version of it. You have to justify all of the cheating he does throughout the course of the series. I would like to point out that Yugi as a villain kind of character, or at least an antagonistic force to Weevil. Like, he's still the hero, but there's something sinister about him. Because there kind of is, really. He gets possessed by a dark entity every time he duels. So, like, that's quite scary, really, isn't it? That's like a really powerful villain ability to have. We've just always took it for granted because it's the main character. But, like, your opponent just gets possessed by, like, the forces of darkness, essentially. he can turn any duel around at the last minute. That's his insane power. You really are the underdog, really, or Underwood when you go against Yugi. So, following on, we're into Battle City now. I feel like the story of Weevil carries on, and the big thing is where he gets denied a rematch against Yugi in Battle City, and instead he has to settle for a duel against Joey, which is Yugi's best friend. He thinks nothing of it, like, obviously he's gonna wipe the floor with Joey. He had planned to cheat against Yugi, obviously, and instead he does it to Joey, where he slips the parasite into his deck. Maybe he might have wanted to have a fair fight with Joey, but the plan just goes ahead anyway. It doesn't really matter, because regardless of all this, Weevil still loses the duel. So I think that's going to be a really big, like, kick in Weevil's teeth kind of thing. So not only has he lost to Yugi, he's lost to Yugi's friend. He's a worse duelist than Yugi kind of thing. So I think that's really going to hit him right in the pride. And at this point, he loses his boss monster. That boss monster, the Insect Queen, I think we need to make that into a really big thing. This is like a really important card to me. It's like, this card is like his Mako Tsunami's Legendary Fisherman card. This card holds a lot of value to him. So losing that, I think, really hurts his soul. And it'll become important a little bit later. But for the time being, I think that's a big thing. He's lost his Insect Queen, and it hurts him. Following this, Weevil's confidence and sanity drops even more, essentially becoming a worse version of himself than at the start of the show. So yeah, that's kind of our storyline. It's like a Breaking Bad situation where the main character is getting more heinous and darker as the series goes on. Following this, we eventually move into the Oricalcos arc, where he actually accepts the help of the Oricalcos to get stronger by any means necessary. And this is where we finally get the rematch duel against Yugi. So obviously everything plays out as it does in the original series. He duels him. He says, I have to gain this power to duel against you, but I'm going to defeat you and prove once and for all I'm the best duelist. And then Weevil, he's been let down a lot. He's been thwarted by Yugi and his friends quite a few times. So he just thinks, I want to make Yugi hurt a little bit, make him suffer the way I've suffered. So I'm just going to do a little joke, little teeny weeny joke kind of thing. I'm just going to, oh, you're looking for your other half, Yugi, the other Yugi. Well, I've got his soul right here on my card. Ooh, look at this. Oh, whoops. I'm just kidding. I didn't really rip your friend's soul in half. Yugi can't take a joke, though. It was just a prank, bro. He just can't take the joke. And he just goes too far. He just draws monster cardos and, like, murders Weevil. Like, okay, fair enough, he won the duel, but then he just keeps attacking. He just takes it too far. And yeah, Weevil gets sent to the Great Leviathan, essentially dying. Now, I think after this, after Yugi and Kaiba defeat Darts off screen or something like that, whatever, we get to Weevil being revived in the middle of the desert or wherever he comes back to. And I think this is his rock bottom moment where he's realized, you know what, I've kind of become a bit of a piece of I need to change. I need to be better than this. Like, my goal originally was to become a beautiful moth, and I feel like now I've regressed, and I don't know if you can de-evolve in the insect kingdom. Can you go from like a butterfly or moth back to a caterpillar? But that's what he feels like he's done. He's not the beautiful moth he wants to be. He's a disgusting cockroach, a maxi kind of thing. I think this is where he has his big change moments. He changes his outlook on the duel, and he wants to sort of seek forgiveness and everything like that, especially since Yugi saved him technically. So I think here he gets a big deck revamp to reflect his new change in personality. Let's give him some new cards like Ultra Cocoon of Evolution, maybe the new Parasite Paranoid card or something like that. Ultimate Great Insect as like a new ultimate monster. And there's a card called Metamorphosized Insect Queen. We're not going to give him yet, but we'll talk about that later. But that's his upgraded boss monster. We'll see it soon. So now we move into Weevil's final season. We're going to go full circle here, where it all began in a regional tournament, and it's all going to end in a tournament as well. So we now are in the Grand Championship arc. Now, if you don't remember this arc, Weevil and Rex do enter this tournament to get immediately clapped by Siegfried, and that's just the end of their story kind of thing. But I'm thinking about something a little bit different. He enters the Grand Championship tournament with the hopes of winning it so that he is granted an opportunity to duel against Yugi, so that he can apologize to him. So this time, instead of immediately losing and getting kicked out of the Grand Championship arc by Siegfried, maybe he beats him. I think that's kind of a fun thing. The main villain getting beaten by Weevil of that arc. Obviously, we made Weevil as the main character. That makes more sense, but we have gone through this entire series where our main character just loses every significant duel. He's lost every single duel, and then we get to like the main villain of a season. And you're like, he's just gonna lose again, isn't he? No, he wins. I think that's kind of cool. After this, maybe he goes on to duel against Joey Wheeler in the tournament and actually wins against him as well. Since it's not a high stakes duel, Joey doesn't need to win this duel or anything like that. And I think it would be good for Weevil as well. The reason he won this duel was because he didn't cheat in any way, shape or form. He just had a real honest duel with Joey. And in the middle of the duel, he did apologize. He says, listen, Joey, I'm sorry I tried to cheat against you that one time, and anything else I did in the series that I've forgot about at the moment. I just want to say, I'm sorry, and thank you for the duel. Good game. Maybe Joey also reconciles with him as well. It's like, you know what, Weevil? Here is your Insect Queen card. It served me well. It helped me get to the Battle City finals and everything like that. So, semi-finals. Semi-finals? Semi-finals. So, here you go. Here's your card. No, I can't. There you go, takes it back. It means a lot to him. Sam of the future here while making this video. I've just realized that Weevil actually has Insect Queen during the Grand Championship arc. He must have just got himself another copy or something like that. In our version of the story, I just don't think he has it yet. He gets it back off Joey here. Maybe, I think it's a bit too magical, personally. The card transforms into the metamorphosized Insect Queen. Or, I don't know, like, I'd like to get an upgraded version. Maybe just plays Insect Queen again now, so that's kind of the thing. Weevil gets into the finals, and he duels against Leon von Schroeder. Unfortunately, Leon has had a card slipped into his deck, something that Weevil knows all too well about. He's got the Golden Castle of Stromberg, and that is an illegal card, and it does some really big shenanigans. Leon is pushing Weevil back too much. Weevil is about to lose the duel, when absolutely out of nowhere, Yugimoto jumps into the middle of the duel. One of those like when they're allowed to get in the middle of the duel kind of thing. So now it becomes a 2-on-1 versus Leon. Yugi's just saved Weevil from being eliminated, and both of them work side by side to duel against Leon and defeat the Golden Castle of Stromberg illegal field spell card. As the duel progresses, we get some cool moments. Maybe Insect Queen gets summoned, and Insect Queen gets fused with the Dark Magician to make Insect Bug Magician. I don't know. You could make something wacky or silly with that. But the point of the matter is, Leon gets out whatever boss monster he plays, that Cinderella card, I can't remember, and it throws its slippers, about to kill Yugi, and Weevil sacrifices one of his monsters, his Insect Queen or something like that, to save Yugi, which is a nice moment. And obviously, because damage is slightly real, why not? Weevil, just about before he passes out, says, I'm sorry, Yugi, for what I did to Exodia. And that horrible thing I did with the Yugioh card. I was just trying to be a joke, but all right, let's move past that. I'm sorry. Yugi goes on to defeat Leon, and then after Weevil wakes up, maybe Yugi and Weevil reconcile. They become good buddies. They have a final duel, and the series ends with Insect Queen and Dark Magician clashing together, and then fade to black. And that is how we end the story of Weevilo. And you can even do a little thing with the apology thing, where it's just like, Weevil's like, all I ever wanted was some friends, people to see me for who I am and everything like that. But friends. And then Yugi's like, you know what? That's what I got into this for as well, to make friends. When I had solved my Millennium Puzzle, that's my wish. I wanted friends. Would you like to be my friend, Weevil? Of course you can. And that's the moral of Weevil, though. It's about friendship too. What was the point of this video? What inspired it? I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny. I thought about Weevil's character. I'm like, you could totally make that into a main character thing. Let me know any plot points, cool duel moments, or anything like that you would like to have seen in Weevil O if you were writing the script for it or anything. Like, what would you have liked to have seen? Are there any other side characters you would like to see me try and attempt this for? I think like Mako Snarby would be really easy. His bloody dad died so you can get that legendary fisherman card. So I feel like we could do something with that. Do me a massive favor if you fancy. Subscribe so you can see more content. Why not? Other than that, bye everyone. Catch you later.